Today we are going to discuss about collective bargaining. The expression collective bargaining was coined by Sidney Badridge Webb in the year 1891. The general meaning of the expression collective bargaining is group negotiation. The system of collective bargaining as a method to resolve the industrial dispute has been followed in USA and England. The system of collective bargaining also recently adopted in some Asian and African countries. India, which adopted the compulsory adjudication system, in principle accepted the collective bargaining. The term collective bargaining is defined by various authors in various ways. Now we are going to see some definition about collective bargaining. First one is Sidney Badridge Webb. He defines, it is a system whereby the power of the individual to negotiate the terms of engagement is taken over by a group. Next, Harbinson, he defines, it is a process of accommodation between two institutions which have both common and conflict interests. Davis Freeland defines, it is a process of rule making which governs the employment. Finally, Golden defines collective bargaining as a measure to distribute the benefits derived from industry among all participants, including the employees, unions, the management, the customers, the supplier and public. The aforesaid definitions indicates there is no uniformity among the authors to define the collective bargaining. Therefore, we may conclude collective bargaining is a process by which terms of employment and conditions of employment are determined by way of agreement between parties to the collective bargaining. Next, we are going to discuss what are all the essentials for the collective bargaining. There are three essentials for the collective bargaining. 1. Parties to the collective bargaining. 2. Subject matter of collective bargaining. 3. Object of collective bargaining. First, we are going to discuss parties to the collective bargaining. For collective bargaining, we need two parties. On employer side, employer by himself or through association or through federation. On the other side, workers through union or through federation. These two peoples negotiate to settle the dispute. As per the definition of Golden, we need three parties for the collective bargaining. That is, the public also to be included for the purpose of collective bargaining. But the practice was not taken place in India so far. Second one is subject matter of collective bargaining. International Labour Organization itself differentiated the subject matter into two categories. Those which are sets out standards of employment and those which are regulating the relationship between the parties. These are the two categories differentiated by the International Labour Organization. The first one is those which are set out the standards of employment. The standards of employment include wages, working hours, holidays with pay and period of notice for termination of contract. Second category includes 8 items, that are provision for enforcement of collective bargaining, methods of settling individual dispute, collective dispute including grievance procedure and reference to conciliation and arbitration, recognition of union as a bargaining agent for workers, giving preference in recruitment to union members seeking employment, duration of agreement, undertaking not to resort to strike or lockout during the period, and procedure for negotiation of new agreement. Objects of collective bargaining. Prime object of collective bargaining is to resolve the dispute in respect of terms of employment, condition of service in between the employer and employee is the main object of collective bargaining. Apart from that, some other objects are also included for the collective bargaining. They are to establish and build up uniform recognition as an authority in the workplace, to raise the workers' standard of living and win a better share in company profit, to express in practical terms the workers' desire to be treated with the due respect and to achieve democratic participation in decisions affecting their working conditions, to establish orderly practices for sharing in these decisions and to settle dispute which may arise in day-to-day life of the company, to achieve broad and general objectives such as defending and promoting the workers' interests throughout the country. Now, we are going to discuss about the prerequisites for the collective bargaining. 1. Freedom of association. 2. Strong trade union. 3. Recognition of trade union. 4. Providing information for the collective bargaining. 5. Give and take policy or willingness to give and take. And regulation of unfair labor practice or victimization. First, we are going to discuss about the freedom of association. Freedom of association is essential for collective bargaining. To ensure the freedom of association, ILO itself, by way of Convention 87, freedom of association and right to organize, provided to all members of the country must provide freedom of association. India so far has not ratified the Convention 87 because of administrative and constitutional problems. But by way of constitution provision, Article 19(1)(c), the freedom of association is guaranteed to our people, even though we have not ratified the Convention 87. Anyhow, we have to take steps to ratify the Convention 87. Second one is strong trade union. Strong trade union is important. Trade union which is democratic, strong and organization activity is important. Without that, achieving the collective bargaining object is not possible. In India, we are having lot of problems in respect of trade unions, mainly because of workers' illiteracy and other conditions are lacking our performance in respect of strong trade union. Third one is recognition of trade union. Recognition of trade union is the backbone of the collective bargaining. In an industry, if we are having more number of trade unions, it is impossible for the management to negotiate with all the trade unions and settle the matter. In this circumstance, we have to recognize a trade union which are having major support. If the trade union is recognized, some period that is to be continued. That is important for the collective bargaining. Providing information. For the purpose of collective bargaining, management must provide certain information which are essential for the collective bargaining. Without that information, the workers cannot participate in the collective bargaining in an efficient manner. Therefore, we have to make provision for providing information which are essential for the collective bargaining. Next one is willingness to give and take. Mutual appreciation between the management and workers is essential. The main object of collective bargaining is to settle the dispute between two groups of people. Here, both people has to give something and take something. Otherwise, it is not possible to reach an agreement. Therefore, mere providing obligation both sides is not worthy. Therefore, both people has to work out and give and take their obligation. Then only we can achieve the collective bargaining. Next, regulation for unfair labor practice and victimization. Statutory provision is essential for prevention of unfair labor practice and victimization. For that, we have to take steps. Advantages of collective bargaining. The collective bargaining having certain advantages. They are as follows. One is, it is a system based on bi-party agreements and such superior to any arrangement involving third-party intervention in matters which essentially concern employers and workers. It is quick and efficient method of settlement of industrial dispute and avoids delay and unnecessary litigation. It is a democratic method of settlement of industrial dispute. Disadvantages of collective bargaining. Collective bargaining also having certain disadvantages. According to Wilcox, there are two important disadvantages. One is, there are some situations in which serious strikes and prolonged strike is possible. Second one is, lack of representation of the public interest on the bargaining table. Collective bargaining in India. As I have already told, that in principle we have accepted collective bargaining, but we are still following compulsory adjudication method to resolve the industrial dispute. Anyhow, after 1950, by way of various 5-year plan, we have made support for collective bargaining. In first 5-year plan, we have recognized the freedom of association and the right to organize of the workers and settle the matter by way of collective bargaining. By way of second 5-year plan, in the year 1956, we have recognized mutual settlement of the problem between the parties in respect of industrial dispute. And in the third 5-year plan, we have recognized the voluntary arbitration method to resolve the dispute. By way of that, we have given certain support for the collective bargaining. Apart from that, in the year of 1966, first National Labour Commission was appointed by Indian government. That first National Labour Commission analyzed the labour problems and finally given certain suggestions. First, in respect of the recognition of trade union, the first National Labour Commission recommended a statute is necessary to support for recognition of trade union. Second one is, we have to create a statutory support. Apart from that, statutory machinery also needed for collective bargaining. On the basis of that, Industrial Relation Commission to be created. That is the suggestion given by the National Labour Commission. But that suggestion was included in the Industrial Relation and Trade Union Amendment Bill 1988. That bill was not passed. This is the situation existing in India in respect of supporting collective bargaining. Next, we are going to discuss the position in England, because already we are ruled by English people. Now they are well versed in industrial relation and also industrially developed country. In England, the collective bargaining is well developed. Therefore, we have to see how they are developed the collective bargaining. In England, they have created a statutory machinery for supporting collective bargaining. That is Advisory, Conciliation and Arbitration Service, which was created in the year of 1974. Statutory approval was given in the year of 1975 by way of Employment Protection Act 1975. The funding for the ACS was made by the government. It is autonomous body. The main function of the ACS is to provide support for collective bargaining. Constitution of ACAS. The constitution of ACS is as follows: Chairman, Secretary of the State, 3 members from the employer side, 3 members from the employee side, 3 members from the public. This is the constitution of the ACAS. ACAS deals the following matters: collective bargaining, conciliation, arbitration, matters regard to recognition of trade union, matters regard to providing of information. In respect of duty of ACAS, they normally try to settle the matter by way of collective bargaining. If it fails, then the matters are referred to conciliation. Even it is not settled in conciliation, then only it referred to arbitration. In respect of recognition of trade union, ACS has done the duty from the year 1974 to 1980. After that, the recognition of trade union was not done by ACAS because it consumed huge time. Therefore, ACS refused to do the duty of recognition of trade union. In respect of another important work, that is providing of information. If the management refused to provide information in respect of collective bargaining, in this circumstance, the workers can move to the ACAS. ACAS will conduct inquiry. After that, they will decide and direct the management to provide information which are essential for the collective bargaining. By way of this, collective bargaining was fully supported by way of statute and statutory machinery in England. In India, we have taken various steps, but all the steps are only up to the bill level only. They are not turned into act. Therefore, we have to work out to found a law or statute to support collective bargaining and create a statutory machinery for collective bargaining. So far, we have discussed in respect of collective bargaining, the definition of collective bargaining, essentials for the collective bargaining, objects of collective bargaining, and merits and demerits of collective bargaining. In this aspect, only the definition of Golden is somewhat different from other definition. The Golden's definition is insisting for third party or a public also to be included in the collective bargaining. By way of that only, the public also put a control over the collective bargaining agreement. Otherwise, the collective bargaining will lead to some negative impact on the consumers. Therefore, we have to take steps, the public also to be included in the collective bargaining. When we compare the collective bargaining in England and India, we are seeing number of difference between India and England. By way of that lesson from England, we have to improve our laws to support for collective bargaining. Thank you.